Well, happy Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to Chat with Charles. I am here with Mitch Haman. Mitch, how are you this morning?
I am fine. How are you, Charles?
I am doing well. I'm excited about this one. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while, so thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's start by seeing who's in the chat because you can tell a lot by who's in the chat. We got 14 folks with us already, and I'm sure that's going to climb 15. So he's already climbing. We're not even started yet. And so Ryan OU812 was the first one in the chat saying hello to both of us. And he was followed by Big Wave Dave and Mr. BHB Jr. Bruce is here with us as well. And JP Page 2, he's been doing a lot of work and traveling around, but now he gets to relax with chatting with Charles and Mitch. So it'll be great. And our music-in-law, Ryan Hall, is home, so he's going to be watching the show from home today. He's been taking care of Mother, so he's a good son that way. Appreciate that. Certainly hope Mother Hall is doing well. And let's see. We've got our buddy Ferd Burfel here saying good morning, chatsters. Always a good time when Ferd is around. And we got Herb of Fireside Studios who's made it in. All right. Thank you, Herb. You might know this next guy, Charles Erde.
Looks familiar. I'm not sure. Oh, I think I know who that is.
Yeah. You might have seen him once or twice. What a great guy. Very nice to have messaged us before the show and said, have a great show. Appreciate that. And Hit Metal Works, he's over there on the West Coast in Canada. He's up early,
That's Ken, right? Is it
Ken? Yeah. Ken's always up early and watching us, and I'm sure Symmetry will be falling behind pretty soon there. And we got Mark's gas station saying happy Sunday, folks. Hello there, Mark. How you doing? And we got that kid-eating guy from the East Coast, Ben Coombs, on, and he's saying hello to Charles and Mitch. Yeah, we got our buddy Wayne McConnell here in the chat as well, saying good morning to all of you. And then we have our awesome glass blower from Oregon, William De Silva, and he is saying hello to a bunch of folks in the chat. And we got our master of the 6-string guitar, Sean Hockey.
Oh yeah,
he is a
good guy. Good guy.
If you have not seen his room for playing guitar, oh my God. It's everything. It's got a bar. It's got all the equipment. It's just guy's doing it right. I'm telling you. Welcome in Rico B from sunny Arizona. Let's see. Chrisman NYC has made his way in. Hello, my friend. And Blackjack Guitar as well. Saying good morning to folks.
Blackjack.
Always love chatting with Blackjack in the chat. There's a lot of chat in one sentence there, Mitch. And John DeShane has made his way in. Hello there. John's all the way on the West Coast as well. Appreciate you getting up early. Let's see. And they're just going back and forth in the chat so much. So I just want to make sure you didn't. Okay, so we are caught up with everybody here. So let me pull that off. And okay, Mitch, it's that time, right? We've got, we could talk about whatever you want the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with the big question. So how does Mitch Haman's guitar journey begin?
Funny. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and in this city, and I was into those James Bond movies back in the early mid '60s, and that theme song. I guess I'm like 8 or 9. I think we moved out of there when I was like 11, so around 9 or 10, 8, 9, 10. Hearing the theme song with that bass tune, that thing got me. Man, that sound. What is doing that music, right? And then I remember one of the neighborhood kids. He got an acoustic guitar, a little plastic thing, and I remember even though it didn't sound good, but it still sounded good enough where, oh my gosh, look, it sounds something like that. I'm playing with it. It sounds something like that James Bond thing. But anyway, so years later, I guess when I was 15, I think 14 or 15, my father bought me my first guitar. It was like a I don't even know if it was new, but it was a $15 K electric guitar. If you ever heard of them, K.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And thinking that action was like that, it's just terrible action. And so I was like 15, and I guess I don't remember too much about it. Then maybe when I started working, when I was out of school, or I saved up. I think my second guitar was a Univox Les Paul,
Nice.
and I got the Univox amp with the head and 412-inch speakers, heavy as anything, but sounded awful. But then I played awful too, especially back then. Well, not that I played. Yeah, and then you could get. Then I would start getting sell stuff, get used Strats for probably you can use American Strats for probably $300 back then.
Mhm.
Telecasters. So that's what got me started, playing guitar. But to be honest, I learned more because I went periods where I hadn't touched guitar in 10 years.
This is where I got to stop you for a second because I got to know. Did you ever work out that intro to the James Bond thing?
Yeah, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think I got it pretty good at one time or not. But I don't. When I learn cover songs, I don't remember them. Right.
Right.
I mean, if I just forget it.
Right, because you go on to the next thing, and then
I just don't.
it's
Yeah.
like it kind of escapes out. Yeah.
Right. But I got back into music in 2015. Right. After not touching it. Well, I had a. Let me back up a little further. 2001, I haven't played guitar now how many years? 10 years or something. I haven't had one. Then the gentleman I work with, he bought a guitar for himself and his son. He was taking lessons. So he lived down the street from me, worked at the same place. And so, it had me think, I'm going to get back into it, right? So I went to Guitar Center. And here's how ignorant I am, even though I played years before when I didn't know the difference between a single cool and a humbucker, back then. And anyway, so I bought a Floyd Rose, not knowing why is this thing not staying in tune, right? I mean, YouTube wasn't around then,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, I started taking lessons too. The guy that got me back and didn't want to buy a guitar for himself. He's taking lessons, so I'm taking lessons too with this guy. And he's really good, shredder and everything. And he's telling me, "Oh, you'll be playing like me in 3 months or less," which never happened. But so I did go. I think I went with him for like maybe 3 months. I'm in all my life of playing on all 50 plus years of playing guitar. I have maybe 6 months total of lessons,
Mhm.
between 5 and 7 months total, maybe if you add everything up, maybe less than that. But I learned more on YouTube in the last 8 years or 9 years than I did prior, all the years before, And
It is funny how all that works, right? And so, kind of going back, looking at your story. So, how do you get to that point where you get that stop in the playing? What was it? Just life in general, kind of getting in the way?
yeah,
Or?
yeah, I guess probably not happy with my progress. A
Okay.
lot had to do with it. Why am I? And there's just I used to rent videos, right?
Hmm.
Instructional videos, VHS. You remember? Some
Yeah.
of it was. I think you could go to the library and it was free. I can't remember, but I would make copies of them, right? But I still never really. Some things might have helped a little bit, but just never really good. But now with YouTube, there's so much good stuff on there. If you're trying to learn a specific lead or whatever,
Hmm. Yeah,
YouTube is
you can YouTube, you can search it and find the exact thing you're looking
exactly, and
for.
they have that great.
In
You can
5 different
slow it
versions.
down.
Yeah.
You can slow the speed down. There's no reason why you can't learn.
Hmm.
But the thing is, I don't learn. I did play in a band when I was like 20 years old where they made money and everything. And the only thing I could do was like a Johnny B. Good riff, and they were happy with that. I mean, but they sang. They had really good vocals. I didn't sing, but they had good vocals. They did a lot of Beach Boys and Beatles
Hmm.
stuff, amongst other things. But I felt guilty because I felt like I was shortchanging them because I could. We played Smoke on a Water. I couldn't play the lead to that. I'm just playing something, trying to play something in key. But I can do it. Well, I forgot it now, but I could do it. I learned it I don't know, a while back, and I could do it almost note for note at one time. Maybe not quite as fast, but pretty close. But now I
Hmm.
totally totally forgot how to do all. I just don't remember how to do any of that stuff.
So how did you push yourself into doing that? Right? How did you get involved in with doing the band?
How did I get in there? Well, I worked for a company called, well, it was Solo Cup. Before that, it was Sweetheart Cup, Maryland Cup, and we're all throughout the
Mm-hmm.
country. Well, different, even around the world. And we have facilities in Dallas and Ledbetter and stuff like that. But anyway, so I worked in a warehouse. I'd load trucks, and I'm loading the guys picking up some freight. Talking to the truck driver, he was looking for a guitar player. I'm like 20 years. This is before I was married the first time. I guess I
Right.
was 19 or 20, and they were happy. I don't know. They were happy with me. I tried out for him. And I was with them for a while, and we played like these they call, I don't know if they call them other states, but they call them in Maryland like Bull Rose, like event, whatever, your local Moose Club, Democratic or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But it just got to be a job, too much of a job. I had to go like 30 miles for a practice, but it wasn't bad. But I felt like, man, I can't do this stuff. And we were playing these songs. I'm not playing the exact same. I felt guilty. I
Right.
did honestly felt guilty. So I just quit the band. They didn't want me to, but I did. But then years later, when I got back into it, I tried for another band. And stupid thing, I don't know these songs all the way. How can you interview for a band when you don't know these songs all the way through? One guy said, you need to find another hobby. And of course the other people there say, oh, they started taking up for me. And that just made me think. So I said, I'll never try out for. Well, I did try out for another band later, even later on, and I did because I was replacing another guitar player, and actually I did one live job with him, and that was in the '80s when I was in Gettysburg, PA. But anyway, but the guitar player decided to stay, so he didn't leave. But I had no business, trying. I mean, I like YouTube. I don't need to learn all of the songs all the way through. I like to play it. My rhythm skills suck because I just work on lead. My time and shit probably suck. Although I do use a metronome at time now. But it's just so much. It's just whatever you want to do on playing guitar, whatever you want to play. I just like. Now I know how to play in key for the most part. I can play in key. I know a little bit about modes and stuff like that. I'm all right with that. Although I want to start learning some more cover songs and try to remember them. And Charles is trying to, he knows all these songs almost note for note.
Yeah.
I want to start trying to do stuff like that.
Well, I want to visit with that for a minute because you were on Charles's last. You're always on with Charles for his live streams.
Yeah.
But on the last live stream, you played for us.
I'm not
will
so
tell
embarrassed. Playing.
No, you shouldn't be because I thought it was awesome because it was honest, it was genuine, and it sounded good.
Yeah, I mean, I know I can hit right notes for the most. Well, I do hit some by accident. I'll hit some bad notes once in a while. I've been working real alternate picking a lot lately. But I don't do anything real fast. You don't really need an alternate pick unless you're doing a run or something. But I've been working on. So one of the videos I put up recently, I forget which one it was. Well, here's another story. I've been into these cheap budget guitars lately. So I put up a stream. I put up a video a couple videos ago, and for me, it's shredding, but anyway, I'm just working on some technique and stuff like that.
See, Charles says Mitch is a rocker. Awesome.
Charles
and Kush agrees. He says you played well. You played well.
Thank you. But I want to play like Charles and all those guys on OU812. Ryan, I want to play like Ryan or Randy or John. All those guys are great. I love playing.
Well, that's the great thing about this community, though. You don't have to be as good as everybody else. The corner that we're living in this community is very supportive and will help you out and will encourage you along the way. And I think that's one of the great things about your relationship with Charles Green, right? The way that you guys have helped each other out.
Yeah, that's another thing that I enjoy helping people more than anything. Let's say, because I struggle how do I get my sound to sound right on you if I'm doing a live stream, because they have a lot of that built-in echo cancellation, then it won't pick up guitar, or, sound like underwater. And I did my research and stuff like that because I don't have the only amp I have now is a THR-10X that's over here, practice amp. But you can use that as an audio interface. And how do you get that sound in there that I'm using DAWs? I researched. It took forever. I mean, I used to use 2 computers to get the sound from a DAW and, the guitar effects. It would work, but it was very cumbersome, whatever. But then, I'm finally finding stuff on YouTube because I learned from somebody else. And then Reaper, if anybody, I use Reaper more than anything. And I have a Mac. I use Logic Pro on there. But and Reaper has a built-in thing called Restream, I think it's called. That will work, but only through OBS. But what if you want to do it in here? So there's a thing called Lander, and there's other stuff out there too. Lander, which is it's like an online DAW, but they have this plugin you can use, and it's a subscription fee too. But they have this plugin you can use for free in the DAW, where it lets you get your effects from point A to point B. So Lander's using virtual audio cables. So if you're using a DAW, you want to set your master track with Lander, as that plugin. So once you do that, any effect that you get, you put on to any other track, and you select in here. If I would select, it's called Lander's using virtual audio cables. You would set that in here, right? And the effects would work. You have to turn off echo cancellation, turn on stereo, and then it would work. It would sound really, really good, and it does. And it's free to use that as a plugin to do that. And there's other things you can do too, but that's what I do.
When it comes to all this stuff, are you someone that enjoys just kind of just enjoys experimenting with things, or is it you enjoy the research of it, or the
all of it? Like OBS, I don't know everything with OBS. I love messing with OBS. There's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes when you update it, which I always update everything. I had no problem. And something might not work afterwards. But then you can reset it. Like I had on the Mac, things work. I have a love-hate relationship with the Mac. I have a Mac Mini M1. And, installing OBS on there, it always throws up this error. And you can reset OBS. There's a thing, if you go up there, you'll see where it says reset. What you do is you have to go to that folder. It'll go to that folder and shut down OBS. You delete everything in that folder. Well, it's pretty much the same on the Mac. I did that, and everything started working right after I did that on the Mac. And that's now here. What the Mac has a better feature now in OBS. It has a desktop feature in there now, where I don't need a plugin to get my guitar. This is new because I'm using Lander and I'm using that desktop feature to get the background. It's like I can hear it's not sounding right. It's doubling. So I'm using Lander. It's getting my guitar, but I have another track that's getting the same thing from Reaper. I figured that out. You don't need Lander anymore to get your sound. Now you could do it through OBS. You couldn't do through here. Let's say if I did a live stream through it will work that way, but not through here. But anyway, it's still a great feature in Mac now that you don't need a third-party software to get if you go through OBS, it'll do it now. So I just found that out, just by accident. I didn't read it anywhere. Just playing around with it. Windows doesn't have that. It's that feature. Well, I have to check. I guess I got to see what the updates. As far as I know, it doesn't work like that on the Windows version, but it might. I have to check that out. So I just can't stand when somebody's playing guitar and when you have it mic'd up, which you can do it right if you properly mic it up, but they don't know they don't know to turn off echo cancellation in here and turn on stereo. Even if you do that, even if you're micing up, that will sound better. But then of course when you want to turn your mic on, you need to switch everything back. So it can be cumbersome. That's why when you're doing it with your guitar effects with the DAW, it's probably good to have a XLR mic hooked up too, so you can have all that in there.
Yes.
Do it all at one time. But I'm on an Elgato A3. It's a USB mic. I just love the way that sounds. I use that most of the time.
So it sounds like you just really enjoy kind of playing around with these things and
I
seeing
love tech.
how
Yeah,
they work and what you can do with it.
yeah. I was showing you. I love computers.
Uh-huh.
That's my new. I just got everything, all the parts yesterday. So I worked on it for 2 hours. I'll finish it the rest today. This is a new uh, fifth AMD 5 is their new generation. Well, it's been out for a while. I'm come from AM4, and I'm just so giddy, and with computers. I mean, I like every 5 years I like to build new ones. I bought a laptop, and it just didn't do it for me recently. I took it back.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember that. I remember watching
yeah,
the videos on that one. It was kind of frustrating.
yeah. I mean, it had specs as this, but I'm getting way more. I got a higher end, probably a better CPU, even though that had a higher rating, but really it's a better CPU in here. Well, that had dedicated graphics card. Same thing actually. But I got like 9. I think there's 9 USB ports on the back, not counting when I put the front header. The front header is going to be on the case, and this is the heaviest motherboard I ever dealt with. And then everything plugs into. You get your hard drives. Used to be, remember the old mechanical hard drives, which I got a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, now everything's an NVMe. These little, they look like memory sticks. And so it's got a heat sink. I couldn't figure out how to get the heat sink thing off of it without breaking anything because they don't have it in the instructions. But I did figure it out. So hopefully I'll hook everything up after Charles' show today, and I'll have it working tonight. Just hope I don't have any memory issues, which is it's a thing with AMD process, but it's been around for a while, so everything should be all right. And there's only two. You got Intel and AMD, and Intel is having a heck of a lot of trouble with their Gen 13 and 14s right now. And even the guy at Guitar Center, Micro Center, you go into do it yourself. I told him, because I couldn't make a mind what I was going to go with, but I did want to do an all white build.
Yeah, we don't have a micro center here in my area. We have to go all the way to Dallas for that.
Yeah, I knew they had one in Texas. I
Yeah,
didn't know where.
but there isn't. Was it Altel? Altel or Altex it is kind of some very similar kind of.
Really?
Yeah, it's very similar. It's got all the parts and pieces down there, everything from the case to the, to the thermal glue from start to finish. You could build,
Thermal glue. I see. I hope I applied that right yesterday. I like spreading it out, and these new chips get really really hot.
Yeah.
There's designed to run at 90 Celsius, fine, and stuff like that. So I hope I have it on there right. We'll see when I do all that. But Charles lives in North Carolina, right? He's got one like 10 miles from his house, whatever.
Yeah.
He lives close to Frank C. now. Frank C. He lived in my area. I live in Hanover, Pennsylvania. It's South Central Pennsylvania, just across the Maryland line. I'm like 50 miles east of Gettysburg. And I met Frank C. from in here, you've seen in the chat. And he lived near me. So we hooked up quite a few times. But his job, he transferred. And so he lives real close to Charles. He's near so many guitar centers now. We got to go, when we lived up here, you got to go 40, 50 miles to a guitar center or a micro center. But so I'm trying to get Charles and maybe Charles Green and Frank C can hook up. He's another guy. He's like you. He's like Charles. So pleasant to be with him. He's a younger guy. He might be around 50 now. But he's just so pleasant. I really miss him. But he's got a lot of EVH stuff. I reviewed, I think almost all the guitars he had. I had them up on my channel. And he had a guitar. I forget which one it was. He bought you know who the Tone King is, Lewis, the Tone King.
Yep.
He bought one of the guitars he had, and I reviewed it. I forget, was it a Kramer or a Hammond? I forget which one, and it was good. But he had like 4 EVH specials or something. I reviewed them all, and none of them played the same. They all felt different, But he's another Frank C. He's another good guy. I'm talking too much. Sorry.
No, you did this show. That's the whole thing. This show is about you.
When you start talking about things that you're interested in, right? You start, I like, and I like football and baseball, right? I'm into that. Although I don't have we had to cut back on our cable bill. We have Comcast out here, and it was getting over $300 a month. So we had I cut it down to $100, but we had to have a landline here because the cell doesn't work good. So I have to
Right.
pay for it. I get that anyway. So I got it down to $200, but I lost all my sports channels. Don't have no more news channels. I have to go on YouTube to find my
Yeah.
my national news, but it's all there. It may
Yeah.
not be live, but I'll get it. And
Yeah.
so.
On that, I went completely down to just internet, and it was just like fine.
Oh, really?
Go that way. Yeah.
Oh, my wife has to have TV. She couldn't watch stuff. She has trouble
But
manipulating the TV,
everything else,
letting stuff on the computer.
but it's like everything else is like through. Okay, well, you got Amazon Prime, right? All the videos on there, and my wife wanted Netflix.
Yeah.
We got Netflix, and then we do a lot of the digital stations that are available. Just
So you do get your local
so
stuff.
we manage that way. One of the things you and I were talking about though earlier was how you went through this phase within the last year of the budget guitars.
Oh,
So how did you get
how did I get
that?
I guess watching different videos, right? I mentioned to you the Ball Shredder. He does a lot of all budget guitars, and he's an unbelievable guitar player, unbelievable, and he writes his own stuff. He don't do no cover songs, and he does really good. He's got a lot of videos up there, but he started doing live streams, and I helped him. Did I mention? I can't remember if I did it live.
That live. That was in our pre.
I don't think I said
for
it.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. I helped him. We did a live. We met up in here. We did not a live stream in here in StreamYard. I was telling him you can do this, do that. And anyway, so for me helping him, because he started doing live streams in December, I guess he sent me one of the. I guess it was a review guitar. He sent me. It's I forgot the brand name. Telecaster, but it plays good. He sent it to me for helping him. Then somebody, I think Frank C reached out to me. I guess it was 6 months ago. Guess you need to help Charles Green. Then we hooked up. So I guess has it been about 5 or 6 months? I don't know how long, Charles. It's been a little while. And it's just Charles is so pleasant to be with, and you know this. I know Randy Price is not in here. He met up with him. He'll say the same thing. There's not a nicer guy. Well, Frank C. They're all in that category. I just love people that are not negative, and I just want to there's too much negativity in real life with politics and all.
Yeah, you don't want to come here and get that, right?
This is my fantasy. This is my getaway.
And Bruce has made it into the chat. He was kind of mobile and watching us there, so now he's there. Welcome.
I don't know if I was ever in a chat or live stream with Bruce, but he's another guy. He's been in a few of them. He's another one of these guys that's a pleasant gentleman.
Oh yeah. That is what I love
really
about.
pleasant.
Like I said, that is what I love about this corner of the guitar community is that these folks will give the right arm to help you. Right. And it's like, and that's why I enjoy being here so much. It was one of the reasons why we wanted to do, when Seth and I had moved Guitar Safari over to Fridays, that when folks were asking, will we still need a Sunday show? It was like, okay, then we're going to do Chatting with Charles. We're going to introduce people, other members of the guitar community, each other, bring us even closer and make it an even more positive place. And that was the idea here.
Right. But I guess I guess we'll off track a little bit about the budget guitar. So I started buying some the last year, right? And I joined this Facebook group, Budget Guitars Universe. And, some guys, I didn't know how to do a setup, right? Like maybe a year ago, I started doing my own setup. Because it's like with the price increase, it's like $80 almost for a setup now. And so I got, I got this right here. So one of the bunch of ones I bought in it last year, if I may show this. It's a Leo James Monsoon, right? This is a real nice playing guitar. And I got this, like I mentioned, the Ball Shredder. He lives, the Ball Shredder, his name is Richard James. No relations to Leo James. But he would go to the NAMM show, and he met Leo James out there. He's from wherever he's at, China and he suggested you need to make a guitar with these specific specs and stuff like, and he did. So this was the first generation, and I bought one. I did have and I was a lot of these guitars you want to change the strings immediately and like oil up the fretboard, but I didn't do it right away. But I eventually did because I think these had 10s. I like 9.
All right.
And there's a little thing like I could fix it myself. I forgot to do it then when I took the strings off. It's like it's nothing to keep it stable, but it doesn't affect.
Yeah, when the pickup rocks a little bit.
Right, he fixed that on the version 2, which I was thinking about buying. But this thing plays so good. Got Alnico 5s. Now they might not be like American Alnico 5, but they sound darn good to me. I enjoy playing this more than my very expensive Les Paul Standard 2019 Blueberry Burst, and I just really. But when I picked it up recently, I wasn't playing it. I was fretting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have all the stuff to do to fret drop, except for the one big thing where you go. But I did, did the fret rocker thing. I had about 5 frets were high, and I made sure they were banged in. So I banged them. And said there were still a couple high. So I just did them one at a time. Started using my file, took a little bit off at a time. Then would measure it, and it's not rocking anymore. Then I would go with that crowning file, hoping it was right. And after I got done, no more fretting out. It just worked good. Now and when I shined it up, I got those. It's like those. I forgot what it's called. It's like sandpaper. It's different grade sandpaper, but it's designed. I didn't start. I just started with the higher grade. I didn't feel like going one at a time. To get to from the lower to the higher, because you can still see some.
Did you now? Was it the micro mesh you were using?
It was like a micro mesh, but it was a different brand. It was cheaper, but the same thing. I cut them up, but you can still see tool marks. You can't feel them though, but it does not fret out. It sounds wonderful. I adjusted. I did a real good job. But before, but how much would that cost me if I took it to my local shop? It's just,
oh yeah, and that's one of the things I love about this too. Was when I first started getting into guitar a couple years ago, it was I kind of like to do the whole 360 thing. I don't like just trying to learn to play, but I want to know how it works, and I want to work with my hands on it. And so that became everything from learning how to do the work on my guitars, and eventually led into the whole fabric topping thing. But it's that whole idea of spending, having all the areas of that. And my wife is like, that's all you do now. So, but it brings me peace.
It does,
It brings me peace, and so I appreciate that.
See, I had to spend some time with my wife. See, we're retired. Right? I've been retired.
Mm-hmm.
Just hit 40 years on the 27th, July 20. Anyway, but I had to spend some time because I'll be in here all day. I don't like the stuff she watches. So we sold our house. We had a split before we sold it and bought a mobile home. It's just everything's on one floor. My wife doesn't move around too well. She's a little older than me. Anyway, so it's just so easy, right? Upkeep. And that's why I just sold I can't play with an amp. Even if I use that little 10-watt, that's why I have to do everything with the DAW and speakers.
Right.
But actually, from watching OU812, I've been on this budget guitar, but I said, I'm not buying any more expensive guitars. Well, just watching, I don't know why. I had to get an EVH special.
Did you now?
Yeah, I had a standard, but I sold it. And to be honest, I should have sent that back because it had issues. You can, you buy stuff from Sweetwater, they should get it.
Right, yeah.
Well, you can very clearly see the strings are not lined up. They're to the left a little bit. And I didn't pick up on it. Of course, I got it. But I was able to loosen up the neck and push it over. So it's pretty center now. But you can still see even the neck pocket. I could probably get a little piece of paper in there, I bet you. But, it sounded fine. It's playing good. I didn't feel like messing with it. But in all reality, I should have sent it back. But it plays fine. But I wanted to see if I can start learning how to use a Floyd Rose. Because I had them before, but I never took the time to learn how to use it. I had the EVH standard, it's a cheaper one. The Floyd worked well on that. And then I had a Ibanez Prestige, whatever, 6. That was a pretty expensive guitar I did, but I sold it. And I bought this stuff to do the intonation thing, and I haven't done anything with that special. I just feel a little. I probably shouldn't have bought it, but I did. But it does sound good. They have the. If you like the high gain, I love those
Mhm.
pickups on there. And that's one thing I have not done yet is any swapping of pickups. Learn how to solder. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could, but I haven't done it yet.
I bet you'll find you get there real quick.
I don't know if I'm going to do it. I mean, I don't know. Because these budget guitars, if you upgrade it, then it defeats the purpose. But you can still buy cheap pickups.
Well, it's like Phil McKnight says, if you're gonna mod a budget guitar, just mod it in a way where you can return it to what it was, and then you still have your more expensive parts for your next project.
Hey, I didn't know that because I bought minor price guitars and I had it
Mhm.
modded. I didn't know about you're not going to get your money back. Whatever you put into a cheap budget guitar,
Yeah,
you're not going to get that money
no,
at all. At all. I didn't know it. Because I never even kept the parts. I do now, but because I do have an Epiphone. I have a 2011 Epiphone Les Paul. It played fine. It played great. I was looking for a Gibson, but
hmm
they had this used one at Guitar Center. Played better than any Gibson they had hanging on the wall because it was set up right.
right.
But I did have I had Pearly Cates put in, CTS, all good stuff in there. It plays wonderfully, really. But I can still feel the difference between that and a Les Paul. I like that Les Paul for those whatever those pickups are. I forgot what they're called. I just love the Gibson growl on those pickups. Yeah, but to be honest, I sitting there no more expensive. Like I said, I got that AV8 special, and I probably shouldn't have. But I got to start picking up. It does sound good though. It
Well,
does
see,
sound really good.
I am all about the bargain and the deal, right?
Mm.
And so I can, if I get a really great deal on something that's nicer, then I'll buy it. If I get a
Really?
really great deal on something that's inexpensive, I'll buy it because
So
I'll
it
turn.
doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a name brand.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to
All right.
be. And, really the fabric shops I started with weren't, the junior, which was the first one there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really cheap Epiphone, right? It was really like the bottom of what
I got
Epiphone
one of those too. It plays fine.
and the
Back there.
Strat that's over there, that's a Carrera
Okay.
Strat, which is, oh my God, that body is so cheap and so
Oh,
horrible.
really?
But it was like it was so the point where I bought it for $24.
Mm.
And because I was kind of following the advice of Phil and saying I'll use it to learn how to work on
Right.
that kind of thing, because if I mess it up, it doesn't matter. And so but I was so disappointed when it came in that I just left it in the garage and never did anything with it. And it wasn't until I
Right.
started fabric topping things that I was like, well, hey, if I mess that up,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And then, you did that one. And but it's the really interesting thing here is when you could take a guitar that's inexpensive and make it play a lot better than it did. Now you got something, right?
Right.
It's never going to be one of the ultra expensive brands. It's never going to, that Carrera is never going to be a Fender Ultra Strat. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But for what it is, it's kind of nice.
You can make it sound good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and Herb says sometimes that name brand are worse than no name. Nobody competes, so they know it has to be good.
Like when I got back in the plane, I don't think I did say that. I got American Fender Deluxe, and so after not playing for a few years, for a while, this is what I got. I ordered it from my local shop, and I'm looking at it now. It's hard to tell. I can't remember what it looked like, but the frets look really, really worn. It's I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but they look pretty flat. But it still plays fine.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Is that for me playing it? Because I don't play it. Well, I haven't played it a whole lot lately. But I think, I don't know. They're like flatter than any other. But I did play a lot when I got it, and but I don't hear no effects. When I play, it still sounds fine. But I don't think. I'm like I'm in a process of selling, some of my expensive stuff. I don't know if I'll sell that though. But I got in the case area Gibson SG. I'm trying to sell. No luck yet. Because I just don't play it. And I'm trying to get out of buying stuff. I try, I'm going to do more and try to learn how to play it or how to work on different technique.
I think you're right. That's kind of where I've gotten to, where I'm looking. I've got enough stuff now,
Yeah.
and I've got and I've got some nicer stuff, and so now it's time to really work on, doing the guitars I'm doing for other people, and in learning to play better myself.
Mm-hmm. Are you here? Are you hearing my fan? I got a fan.
Nope, not hearing it all. Don't even worry about it.
Good. It's hot.
So let's talk about this awesome channel you've got. Because that blue guitar you were showing us earlier, you got a great video up on that one over there.
$239. No, was it I think $239 or $220. I forget. Julia James. Yep.
And so what are you hoping to do over there in the channel? If you have I'm sorry, and if folks, if you have not checked out Mitch's channel yet, go on over there. It's a good time.
Yeah, I used to do. Actually, I used to, even going back before guitar stuff, I used to do a lot of tech stuff. YouTube, some form or another. But then I, 2000 or sometime after 2015, started doing all music stuff. And when I got out of 1,000, they wanted me to monetize YouTube. I'm just not into it, not interested in it. And I like people to subscribe to me if you want to, but I just do because to me it's always fun. I don't want people to give me money because there's too many good people out there. I don't need any money. To me, it's fun. I don't monetize, and they were bugging me in the beginning, but I just didn't do it. But now I don't have enough people. I don't get enough people to watch. I don't have enough viewing hours time to monetize. But it's okay. I'm not interested. I just want to do it to have fun. But I was doing a show like weekly for almost a year with Don Smith 2 3/4 jams, and but we just did one like occasionally, not that often. And we just stopped doing it. But so I'll just do like videos of me playing something, or I might do something that I figured out on OBS or how to do this or how to do that. I might post some of that stuff. But I don't do anything on a consistent basis. I might do a random live stream sometimes. Usually I'm probably troubleshooting something. I'll do a live stream. Then now I'm doing stuff with Charles. And,
your shows with Charles are cool.
Yeah, I don't want to drag his show down with me on there because he knew, like I was telling you, he knows enough. He could do all this stuff without me. He learns quite fast. He can do all this stuff. But I enjoy it though. I just enjoy it. It's all fun for me.
So what would you like to accomplish with the channel going forward? What would you like it to be?
To get 1 million subscribers, and I know, just to continue what I'm doing. Like I said, I did, more than anything, I like to improve guitar playing. Here's the crazy thing. I buy these guitar instruction things. Here's how guilty I am. I bought one of Robert Baker's things, like, it might be 5 years ago, maybe 4 years, but I don't think I never got off lesson one. Like and I bought. There's another young guy that I follow. I feel like I'm good friends with the Lester Mitchell. Check him out. He's young. He's in his mid-30s, maybe. I said how good the ball shredder is. Richard James. You ought to hear Lester Mitchell. That's funny. He's out in California too. His name is Lester Mitchell. My name is Mitchell Lester. Haman. We got kind of the same name. But he's got a great story. If you go on his channel, he just had a bad upbringing, and he turned out unbelievable how he turned out. But he's an unbelievable guitar player. I did have a lesson with him, and actually he did help me some of the stuff where I never thought about doing, which just helps you with speed. Just start, of course, you go up and down, but stay on the same string, stay on the string. You want to do it. Anyway, I saw Prudent doing some of his stuff. But even that, I bought another pack he just sold recently. I haven't even opened it up yet. I forgot what it is. But, I think a lot of us might be guilty of that. I don't know. I just like seeing somebody play something. Just I can, maybe try to get some ideas and watching somebody play. Quentin James, I love the way he plays.
Yeah, Quentin James is a character. That
Yeah.
is a guy having fun for sure.
Yeah. Oh, there's Randy Price. Hey, Randy.
Yeah, he snuck in. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Randy, how you doing? He's been lurking. Okay, so he's been here with it, just hiding. I see. Probably getting ready for the show later on, I bet.
Yeah. And now I got to tell you ahead of time, I'm not prepared. Charles wants me to play too, and I don't have another backing track to play with. I was just thinking about, I can play one of my songs I have up on YouTube or something, because I was just so involved with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on that for 2 or 3 hours, and I had it with their computer, and I had to take a break. I said, I'll do the rest tomorrow. I'm tired, and so I didn't come up with another backing track, but we'll see what happens.
Could you play something a little bit different over the one that you've already the one you did last week?
Well, yeah, if I had a different backing track, I don't have one downloaded. Because a lot of times I delete stuff. I don't keep up. I had one I did a couple of weeks. I think I have it on the Mac, but I can't. I don't. Yeah, I'll do something. Maybe I'll just find something. I like playing in D or D minor more than anything. I don't know why. I like playing in that key.
Oh, maybe that's one you just have a natural feel for.
Yeah, maybe. Because I play the same licks. I play the same lick, regardless what key I'm in. I just move it around. Thank you.
Herb says he'll go with you. He'll go with you on OU812 too, and you'll look like.
No, I won't. I won't go on there. I think I was on there. Oh, we were on another channel. I think I played with them once, but I don't think it was. Yeah, they're two. Although I do like watching because I get ideas. All the John DeShane, I get all kinds of ideas. John DeShane, Ryan. Yeah, I'm playing around with that. What's that? Summer Nights.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do it. There's a good player out there. He does it without doing where he's changing the key. He can do it just by. Like, man, how can I stretch my fingers like that? But I might play with it someday.
Yeah. So is there so Summer Nights is a song you're working on. What are some other
not just a little bit. Pat Benatar, I like that. Hit me with your best shot. I always knew some of it just by ear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is about maybe 7 months ago. So I got one of the 80,000 tutorials up there. And actually, I got the lead down almost 100%.
Uh-huh.
And that was the easier part, the one lead in there. But I didn't go back to it, and I totally forgot everything. So I just can't retain anything. My HDD, I can't retain or remember stuff. That's why I can remember playing in keys, and stuff like that. When you're playing to a backing track, you just pick the key and just you hope you're playing. You're in the right key, and you don't hit too many bad notes. That's the easy way to it.
So what is your approach when you're trying to learn something new?
Find a backtrack I like. It says it's like a rock style. I'm saying I like playing in D, but it really doesn't matter. Or D minor. And then I just play something, and this sound goes. This sound good. And recently, I never did any finger tapping, or finger tapping that I would do live. And I finally started figuring stuff out, just playing around, and it kind of sounds halfway decent. I put on a couple of my recent, and that's just watching some of the guys on the 812, and it sounded right. And Charles mentioned some stuff to me too, gave me some tips, which somebody that really knows how to do. I'll take any kind of tip. Somebody that really knows what they're doing. But you got these people that. There is people up there that'll show you how to do stuff with it, and it doesn't sound. Well, that don't sound right. And I'm not putting anybody down. That doesn't sound. If you didn't tell me the name of the song, I would have never guessed what it was.
Right. Well, I think when I look to learn something new, and I'm looking, I'll find like 3 or 4 versions on YouTube.
Exactly.
Right. And I was like, okay. And it's like, and one version will give you these chords, another version will give you these chords, and it's like, right. It's like you see, okay, so you'll start to go through them and say, okay, which one sounds right to me?
Right. Exactly. And I like some people that they'll teach you in chunks, which
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carl Brown from Guitar 360, he's like that. There's another guy. I don't think he does any more lives or any puts up any more videos, but I think it's from Australia. Chris Supa. He was really good. I liked his style of playing. He would teach you in chunks, then put the maybe the tabs up, and I just like the way his approach was because I learned the Hotel California.
Mm-hmm.
I got that almost note for note at one time. Of course, I don't remember any of it now. The lead to I got the lead to Smoke on the Water. I got that down at one time. Sounded pretty good. Maybe not quite as fast in that one spot, but I was getting really close. I don't remember. Just don't remember. But the thing is, if I go back to it, it won't take me long to pick it back up. You know. But just playing to a backtrack, my approach is whatever. I'll look for something in a specific key, and I know whatever notes I'm going to play, it's going to sound right, just the way you arrange them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like talking. Music. It's like you're talking in musical notes. Trying to make it sound. Try to put a more so than you don't have to shred for this, but try to put a melody to it,
Right.
which I don't always really do so much. Trying to just don't go with playing fast. Try to put a melody to it and trying to sound what I'm trying to do now. Trying to make it sound different than what I did last time. Even though you're doing the same technique and stuff like that, trying to make it sound a little bit different, which is hard to do for me.
That's all right. That's all right. Hey, I'm still live. Yeah, my wife's knocking on the door like I'm not
Yeah,
knowing.
my wife. Are you going to stay and spend some time with me? She'll say, yeah. So that's why I miss some of these shows at night because
Mm-hmm.
I got to sit down and watch, spend some. Even though some of the stuff, well, there's a lot of stuff we like. Yeah, I'll try to find a movie to watch. And with lately, oh, I got to say Ben Coombs. I got to bring him up, Ben.
Uh
I told you before he went live. I think one of the first live streams I started doing with music related,
oh. Mm-hmm.
anything related to guitar playing. Ben Coombs did a live marathon stream. I don't know. I hope. Well, it's 7 years ago, Ben. I don't know. I was in there. R2 was in there. I can't remember who else was in there. I was Shane from Indian Blues in there. I don't remember. But a lot of other people in there. I left like 5 a.m. It was still going. But I think Ben Coombs live stream, I think it was the first time I was ever on anything with guitar, I believe, if I can remember correctly. But that was, I don't know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 2018. Okay, so I was pretty close. Yeah. Um, man, wow, that was a long time ago. But it was fun, though. It was really fun.
Oh yeah,
And there's so many good people in this community, and
there are.
just drama free. I get away from the drama. I don't want nothing to do with drama. Too much, like I said, too much stuff in real life.
Yeah, yeah. This is our escape from all that, and
Exactly.
with everything, it's a balance, right? You got to find the balance between what you got going on. My wife and I spend a lot of time together, and but sometimes you need your time
Yeah, right.
to recharge your own battery so you can go back and be a good husband, right?
Yeah. I mean, but with guitar, I mean, like I retired. If it wasn't for guitars and like computer stuff, and like I said, I was telling you, I don't drink. I'm not into drink. I don't do any of that stuff. And yeah, I maybe once every 2 or 3 years, I might have a drink or whatever. But if it wasn't for these guitars and computer, and I'm retired, and I just recently told you I lost 54, 55 pounds, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still want to go another 30 pounds, which I've done many times. I always gain it back. But now, since I'm going to be 69 years old
Mm-hmm.
in a few days, um, I need to keep this off, and
Yeah.
not gain it back this time. And now I have it in my head because I always gain it back. I couldn't move. I couldn't put my shoes on before. I was 294.
Oh my.
And it's the simple things you couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can do them again, and now because I still had trouble. I'm a binge eater, right? Junk food, and I've still been. I had trouble every 10 days, roughly for the last month and a half. Every 10 days, I'll binge, right?
Right.
But I don't eat hardly anything the next day, and it's still been working. I've still been losing weight. I had my last week, the first time I lost more than a pound or two. I lost 5 pounds last week, but usually it's just outside that first week. It's only a couple pounds, 3 or 4 pounds. But it was the first time I had a good week. And then, I weigh on Wednesday, and I because I did so good, I went off Wednesday night, just binge. It's terrible. It's just like I said, I don't do drugs. I don't drink, but you can understand where you can get addicted to anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anything. It's a disease.
All right. So you said you and Charles are going live later today.
Oh, 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay, so that's
It's my time. I guess it's 1 your time.
Right. So yeah, because you're on East Coast, right?
Right.
Okay. So 2 p.m. Eastern time. You can see Charles and Mitch live on Charles's channel, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So look forward to that. Immediately following us here is Music Therapy Labs coming up next. So
right.
Be sure to go ahead and wander over there. We know Ryan and the Yo-Yo812 crew are going to have an awesome jam session at 5 o'clock Eastern?
Yep, like around 5:05, somewhere.
And so that's always a good time. And to answer Herb's question, who's on with Ben tonight? Well, on Ben's channel, that is Ben and Symmetry. Him and Trev are going to be on, and they've got their hands on some gummies, and they're just going to see how far they can take that. So they intend on going long.
Yeah,
so be interesting show.
That's when my wife drags me. I try to watch Ben lately, and it's usually always at night. It's just, when are you coming in to watch Big Brother with me or Survivor? I said, I'll be in.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? I love Paul and all the cats. So Ben is going for 200 milligrams or bust.
Very cool.
Well, Mitch, this has been an absolute joy, buddy. I am so glad that we did it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, it is a pleasure. I've been wanting to have you on for a while.
Stage fright.
No need to. You have got it nailed down. It's an honor to talk to somebody that has been of help to so many of other people in the community get their stuff right, because you have given us the gift of Charles Green playing on a live stream that he's been wanting to do for years. Right. And I remember watching his very first one, and my jaw just dropped. And it was all thanks to the assistance of Mitch Haman helped getting that song right, the sound right there, and all the things worked out. And so we're definitely going to have to do this again sometime.
Can I do a plug before I go?
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. I'm not rushing you off, my friend.
Right. I already mentioned these people. Guitar Hack. They watch Guitar Hack. Subscribe to him. He's got a very good YouTube channel. And I mentioned the ball shredder. You just type it in and give him follow him, and Lester Mitchell. He really needs help. Lester Mitchell. They follow them guys, and everybody in here that's got a YouTube channel. Follow those guys too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should do. I mean, me, I don't care. I like you to follow me, but I don't monetize. But I know the ball shredder. He's trying to make something of his channel. He's doing really good. I think he started around 22,000 in December when he started doing his live stream.
Uh-huh.
He's up to 27 or 28 from doing these live. Of course, he does reviews too and stuff like that. So he's been doing good. But I like helping these people. I have people want to monetize. That's fine, and I want to contribute if I can, any way I can. So, but support everybody. That's what it's all about.
Well, folks, I want to thank everyone for being here. Mitch, thank you for coming on. You are certainly a jewel in the community, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to head on out. Mitch, stay with me a bit. We'll have a little bit more of a talk. Everyone else, go on and head on over to Music Therapy Labs and figure out how music can help make your life better. All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and play our theme song, and we'll see y'all later in the week or
Bye.
later in the afternoon.